All right, you ready? All right, it is 6:31 PM on Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. It's a meeting of the Coventry Land Trust. The meeting has been posted in accordance with open meeting laws. We will now do a roll call to determine our quorum. Lynn Carlson.
Present.
Linda Brennan.
Present.
Joyce Peretta.
Here.
Jack Donovan.
Here.
Rory Carmody.
Here.
Dennis Green.
Here.
Glenn Underwood here. All right, all accounted for. All seven. It's great. I'd like to welcome Lynn to our team. Going to be a tremendous asset for our mapping and GIS skills. So we'll get into that shortly here. John, could you give us the evacuation instructions?
Sure. If you go out the door, just beyond those filing cabinets and out to your left, and that'll be the quickest way out.
Okay, thanks. All right, the minutes were circulated from our May meeting. Did everybody get a chance to review them?
Yes.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to accept the,
One question. Motion was made by member Brennan to correct the one line. And the property in Black Rock Road is owned by the Shaman. Right? Is that
Which page, what are you
front
reading?
page?
From the April 19 minutes.
Is it owned? Is there something?
no,
No,
That wasn't
no,
the correction.
I thought there was something that I missed there.
No,
No,
that was
okay.
not it. No.
No.
So, and I missed that. So, where is it? What?
Where it says approval of minutes, April 19th, 2022.
Oh, okay.
Is it associated with the Shama tribe?
No, it's not. It's, they are
Negotiating.
they're not negotiating. They're not gonna own the land. They're just gonna have to put a sign up. That the Black Rock was special. I think so. It's not a transfer of property. It's just not in my understanding. It's just that they're going to designate it historic. Okay, so that's not right. And also, the calendar a little lower. The calendar showed that the cleanup day was successful. Land trust days are upcoming, and there will be a kayaking day on June 16th. Which is not
did
true.
anyone do that?
No.
I thought I had been the only one who missed it when I read the
No,
minutes.
no. So
No, I think what was meant there, that there was going to be the opportunity to kayak on that day, but not that we were sponsoring that activity.
right.
But I think you have a correction that we need to make about
Mm-hmm.
So we need to correct both those things.
It was on our calendar, that Romy had found.
So, well, I guess, Linda, your wording was, I recall your wording was not that, but.
So the property on Black Rock Road will be, the Shawmut tribe is investigating the opportunity to designate it as a historic
Okay. Yeah.
site. They're not owning it or anything.
There is a building now on the Jervis Street, Black
Right.
Rock. A house has been built. If that was part of what we were going to have, if we got involved
No, that was on the other side of that parcel is still
on
on.
that
Developed,
side.
All right, so that wasn't the motion.
No,
I think we can just strike that from
okay.
that first. I don't think you made a motion and
No, I didn't.
other than to change, it was a sort of, I guess there was a correction, but not at the property, so that motion.
Right.
So I would say that we just strike that. Does anyone else have any other additional corrections to make to with that one correction, striking the first paragraph there under the approval of the April 19th, 2022 minutes. Striking that in its entirety. I'll accept the motion.
And also striking the kayak day.
I'm not sure what, we mentioned the kayak day and
Right.
Joyce did. It was on our calendar. So what do you want to
Okay.
strike from it?
Well, I thought it, the way I read it was that it was our kayaking day. So anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not that important.
Yeah, I think the intent is there, but it wasn't. Anyone could borrow Joyce's kayaks.
Right.
That's
the way we
to
took
go.
it. Tell Joyce.
So, and it was on our calendar. Just that's not. You know, we have a lot of events on our calendar, but they're
Oh,
not all
FYI.
events that
Mhm.
we're
Can sponsor. sure.
sponsored. Right. All right. Do we have that motion with that one deletion made by Dennis Green? Do I hear a second? Seconded by Linda Brennan. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the amended minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, so voted. All right, going on to our next thing, business here, ongoing business and discussion. Outreaches to organize and encourage volunteers. Any new updates for that?
Oh,
Volunteers or- Okay. I think that Officer Pendola has people that need hours,
Community service.
so that might be something that we want to look into sometime.
Okay. Absolutely. I think maybe and I know the library always has done a lot for doing community service hours. I think what we need to do is just reach out maybe to the officer and say, you know, these are some events that we're looking for community service, including land trust days. And if we set up a trail clearing day, and then if we give him sufficient notice to tell him, and he can work with us to arrange, so we can have the people that need to partake or want to partake in that sort of community service, which would be a great help for us. So does anyone have any objections to lining up some community service?
Nope.
Okay, great. Rory, you had,
Yep, I spoke to a gentleman from the Rhode Island Nursery and Landscaping Association, Mason Billings, and they do a 5-week intensive apprentice program for folks. It's a 5-week paid course. Right now, they're working down out of Acadia Park. They handle all the tools, things like that. But I was speaking to him about any opportunities for his program to include working with us on either blazing trails, clearing the path, marking, and he thought that would be an absolute possibility, because they're trying to recruit and get a lot of people interested in nursery and landscape and farming kind of things. So I mentioned it to Glenn, but I'm going to invite him to our next meeting, so he can talk a little bit more about what he does and how we could probably build in some of those opportunities for our land trust as well.
great, that's another good avenue for us. All right, any other additional things? And I know, Rory, you'll make sure that you get that to Gail to add to
Yes.
the agenda for July's meeting. And Jack, I think all you have to do is just reach back out and say, you know, we will, as soon as we set up our next date, and certainly land trust days would be a day that we can use somebody to help.
Okay, well, I haven't spoke to him yet,
Okay, so
so it would be, initial contact.
initial contact, perfect. All right, next on the agenda, Coventry Land Trust website page updates.
Okay, I think we were.
I think I can take the ball on this one. So if you just give me 1 second, that way I can share my screen for anybody that either who's watching or will watch in the future. So I had sent off all of the material to Cody from the IT department, and he was able to upload it up to the website. So this is what we have at the moment. And I felt like this would be a good opportunity for everybody to kind of look at it and figure out if you have any ideas about if this is either what you want, or if you have any changes that you would like to submit as far as layout goes. I know we had talked about adding potential links to mapping. I don't know if that's something where you want the map to be on this page, or if you just want to link to it. That was something that, you know,
Like
when
right
we
on that
started
page,
adding
right
this.
with the name, the link
Yeah,
to
yeah,
trail,
like
you know,
Nancy
map of the
Sullivan.
property, yeah.
Was that? Yeah.
Yeah,
if
so
we
I
could
guess,
have
I guess the
picture.
question was, do you want it like embedded into
Yeah.
the actual page itself? So in other
Yeah.
words, there would be a picture right here of the map, or do you just want to link to it?
For example, say it's Stella Hall and we have a map.
Yeah.
With the right of Stella Hall, the next thing I would want to see would be the map.
Yeah,
Then
Right.
you go to your next piece of property, Whipple, then you go to that map.
Right.
yeah.
So you
That's
actually
just
want
my
to see the
opinion.
map on the page itself.
Yeah.
That was
Can
the question.
we also add a link though, if you want to print out the map yourself?
That
Yeah,
would be-
absolutely.
But
So if you know, obviously this will become a fairly substantial page with a lot of map information on it, which is fine.
And
But some
maybe-
people like to be able to
they can
Print it.
download it, that's,
Right.
Right.
put
And
on it.
maybe as
but they have the map view. Okay, now bingo, I want to download it so I can walk with it. They can download it.
Yep.
And go to the trail.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can maybe zip it, John. Can you make it smaller? You know, like we can enlarge on our pictures on Google phone. You know, so it fits, so you don't have to worry about a lot of space with a picture or a map.
That shouldn't matter.
Shrink
It's
it, you know?
You could link it. If you-
Yeah,
Yeah.
link.
So we could have in other words, a small map
yeah,
here,
that can be enlarged.
and then we can have a link that would enlarge it. So in other words, instead of having, you could have a small map right
Fitting in
here
the
on this
space that we
page,
have.
in
Yeah.
the space.
Yeah,
under,
then
under each property.
Under each property,
Yeah.
and then a link that gets you to the map itself that you
Sure.
can
For
yeah, with a
play
tap,
with it.
a
Yeah,
tap type
tap.
link. Yeah, that's the way my pictures work. You
Yeah,
know, I can
thumbnails, right.
get a better,
But we're gonna
Slide
put the
around.
map under each piece of property, I hope. And they can download it how they choose.
Right. So,
Otherwise,
so they were talking about, so a thumbnail, in other words, that would be the map itself,
Small one.
but the map itself would be a link. Is that what
Yeah.
this, yeah, so
then you
another,
can take
You
the whole
would
map.
say, click on map to enlarge.
Right.
right, okay.
Would you want to have it be the full map or just like the image with the boundaries of the property and then
If we're gonna do a
that be
map,
the thumbnail?
the way we did Stella
Yeah.
Hall, what you did, plus what we
Mhm.
did for Bowden property. I think it's only better to show that map as everything. If they want to download it, they can download it. If I understood what you just said.
Okay,
You want a complete picture. If you're trying to sell something, let them see the whole thing. Make it easy for them to get it. Don't make them have to work to try to
Right.
grab it.
okay.
If you're trying to sell it quickly, you know,
Mhm.
but they got to spend a half hour to get it, you know, to download and do this and do that.
Yeah,
I-
okay.
All right, so an actual picture below each property, and then just a little blurb below each picture saying something to the effect of click here to
Right.
download.
Now we can,
Mhm.
right.
Okay.
So they're going to see what they're going to get in my
Mhm.
simple layman's terms.
Easy enough.
We're going to sell this. Let's just do it. You know?
All right.
All right, yeah, I
Because,
can,
well, Jack and I were doing work at Bolton. And a couple of hikers came through and they went right to the kiosk. And they were looking, and I think they looked at it was the map. They wanted to know how to work the trail. You know?
Mhm. Of course, not everybody can download or take a
I'm
picture,
sorry, I
or,
can't
you
help
know.
that.
So, you know, we still maybe want
I
a
can't
few
help that, Jules.
folders, but people
I can't-
think
I
they
can't
would
help that.
get taken, or no folders, huh? Little, they have them at Maxwell Maze, you know, right down the road. Yeah, in a little
trying to get
box, a
more
wooden
people-
box.
To get into these trails, so make life easy for them.
Yeah,
If they don't have the technology,
Maybe
Then
they
they're
could
out
have
of
a
luck.
few at the library
you
Yeah.
could.
and then you could say,
could.
need a hard copy.
Yeah.
pick it up at the
Right.
Come up
library.
in the library, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think
Yeah.
having and seeing Megan on Thursday night, I can ask her about having a section that we can just have, land trust and, maybe a little spot just so we can have maps and things of.
So people can go to the counter, so
Right.
to speak, and pick it up.
And
That's
if we let their reference people
Yeah.
know that, also that there's resources out there for recreation. I mean, that's also ties the library and recreation together. So that's a good positive for both sides.
We could get a
You could
display.
rent a fishing rod. You
You
could.
can rent a fishing rod and go
Rent a
hiking and go fishing.
We could get a display case. Right now it's showing the Coventry sister, town in a city, actually in England. There are people putting different exhibits, Payne House and all the accumulation. We could do a land trust in there with maps and whatever.
Yeah,
If you want to, you have to book it ahead,
right, yeah,
but people do look at it. So it's a possibility.
yeah.
because we've been talking about this website, so I've been on the board.
Well, we've got something to put on it.
Now we
Finally.
found
We got some maps.
And before that, Ed wouldn't do anything because of the
Well,
virus, you know what I'm saying?
This is progress. This is great progress. And I
So
think it's
this
what
is-
we've been wanting to accomplish.
Let's just make it simple. Let's just
Yeah.
let them download match. See what they're looking for. Here's the write-up. Oh, I can click here. Bingo, I got myself a map.
Mhm.
All right. Do we have any additional webpage updates?
I don't,
I just will say, in case it wasn't clear, that is live currently. So
Okay.
So it's there.
what we have is better than what was.
Yeah,
there.
it's a
Mhm.
start.
So
Excellent.
we'll be adding to
Building,
that
we'll be
continually,
building.
but that is live for the public right now.
great. That's good.
Okay. All right, the next thing, important calendar dates. Do we have anything on our dates that are coming up other than Land Trust Days event that we need to target? I think we're gonna be pretty well tied up just handling what we got, so we will move on with that. Potential properties of interest, did anyone or does anyone have any potential properties brought forward or? Okay, I haven't seen anything new. Okay, grant opportunities. Any new opportunities that anyone has come across. Okay. Plugging along old business. All right, the first thing, Leah Kavanaugh's development rights. Now officially have an appraisal. Everyone get their copy distributed to them and have a chance to look at it.
Can you ask, is this one that is, you got it appraised so that, because you guys want to buy it?
Development rights.
Development, right?
The person, yeah, so John, just for the group here, can we bring up
Sure.
the property map? So this property is at the end of Ledge Road. So it's just below or beside our Bowden property.
Yeah, so just for reference, this is where the cursor is. This is Ledge Road coming off of 117 here. You follow it down. And then Leah Kavanaugh's properties, the very last one, you can actually see that the road actually terminates in her driveway right here.
Does that cover the entirety of the old quarry?
Her property has the entirety of the old quarry.
It's a public road, though.
I don't know where the official abandonment of Ledge Road was, and I don't know, John, whether you know that answer or not,
I don't know
where,
the
because it
official
used to
cutoff
run all the
point.
way to the
Greenway.
Greenway, and I don't know whether that road was officially ever abandoned. It went across it, the property.
It doesn't look like it's still there.
What is that key line?
green line, oh, here,
Inside the property line.
yeah, so that just continues this way. I believe that is trying to mark out some sort of, whether it's wetlands or something to that effect. Yeah, because you can see it kind of goes up and around and snakes through. Unless it's some sort of trail, I'm not exactly sure. As you can see, it continues. Yeah, I'm inclined to think like it's
a
the same
line,
green
one
line,
line.
so I think it's trying to show wetlands of some sort.
And that's the greenway.
That's a great,
green
yeah,
lines
those
right
red
here.
lines, yeah.
Where the two red lines are, Joyce, that's the greenway. The two red lines.
Yeah, I think so, right,
Yeah.
John? The
Yes.
greenway at the two red line.
So development rights would include which portion of the property?
So when we had talked to,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you could just highlight it, so if anyone's watching it on the.
Oh, I see, all right.
development rights are roughly this portion
The north portion.
in the red. That's roughly what we're looking at, maybe give or take. But that's about it. Marked in red.
Okay, and how many acres?
That one.
11.7.
was- Oh, that's the 11.7 is the total, I believe. Nope, actually, no, the total is 25, so yes, the portion is 11.7, thank you.
This is our first go around with development rights, and it was kind of interesting to read the appraisal through and the methodology of, basically saying what the price would be if it was developed, and then strip away the difference to come up with a development rights number. And so I think the number is $60,000.
60,000, yeah.
For the
Development.
11.7 acres of putting it under development rights. Does anyone have any questions about the appraisal?
What is before and after the imposition of the conservation easement mean? What cost is that?
So that's the difference. So basically, he decides in a hypothetical situation, if somebody were to develop this property, then how many lots could they get out of it? What is the market rate for those either house lots or homes in that situation? So he determines the value of the land on that 11.7 acres as if a developer were going to buy it and develop it to make a profit. He takes that value and then he says, okay, well, what's going to happen if and when we put a conservation easement on it? And what is the potential value of it after we've imposed that easement on it? Because at that point, obviously, by design, you can't develop upon it anymore. And that is what this appraisal is. That's that value. It's the difference between those two numbers.
The 85 and the 12, okay.
So yes, he's saying the value of opinion before the easement is $85,000. The value opinion after the easement is imposed would bring it down to $25,000. The difference
Is the
is
60,000.
the 60,000. That easement is worth the $60,000.
Development could be the quarry. Could they ever get the quarries running again?
In this case, I think he was specifically
Thinking
thinking
housing.
about
Housing,
housing,
yeah.
just because that's what it's zoned for.
Right.
So any potential quarry work would not necessarily be a permitted use by right out there, and they would probably run into a lot of red tape with the town.
oh, yeah.
So
It's a tough road to get.
Yeah,
up,
because we've had solar,
Right.
declared commercial before,
Right,
so that it couldn't go on land trust property. Just wondered what else might happen,
Right, yeah.
beyond our agreement.
in this case, he specifically looked at if somebody were to put single family homes on it, because that is really the only permitted use by right, other than
Uh-huh.
a couple of, actually, really, that's probably one of the only permitted uses by right, other than maybe a customary home occupation, but you need the home
right.
in order to have a home office, so.
Right.
So, you have an appraisal now. We have 11.7 acres of land that would be conserved in perpetuity as not for people to walk on, but So no additional houses would be built in that area. Obviously, it's, you know, it's not ours, it's private property. But it does continue to conserve a big block of property in the middle of an area that we've worked hard to preserve it over several years of land trust work and Audubon and various things. So
What's the permanence of that if Leah decides to sell her property and her house, the remaining property, in like 5-10 years?
Yeah, so it would be much the same as any other type of easement. It would run with the land.
Right.
So it's not an agreement necessarily with Ms. Kavanaugh. Yes, we are making that initial
Right.
agreement with her, but the easement runs with the land, not with the person. And that's really what is the driving force behind this,
Mhm.
because her fear would be that if the property ever leaves her hand for whatever reason,
Right.
then the land is protected.
Sorry, may I ask again for background, did she approach the town to put this on? or
Yeah,
did we ask
she's
her?
been in talks with the land trust for many years.
Okay.
Prior to
This at least 2 years.
my
So
understanding.
she wants to do this.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
oh, yeah, definitely, no doubt about
yeah, it
it.
was a reach out on her part to us with, I think she was going through a period of trying to figure out what she could do with the property, and there was, you know, sort of talk of some business operation down there, which I think it would be very difficult to do, and this is another, but her main goal, as John said, was that she wanted to make sure that the future of the property stays.
Thank you.
Um,
And it is an historical building, the old quarry house, you
Her
know,
house
it's a
is
beautiful
stone house,
building. Where two, one is ruined in that it has no roof, but still substantially there.
Because the property, her house was for sale a while ago, and then she took it off the market, right?
Yeah, it's been
That
for
I'm not
sale
sure.
a few times,
Yeah,
in my
so
knowledge,
that's why I
you
was
know.
wondering what the permanence of that, okay.
Yeah, so it's in perpetuity, the development, right? So
Okay.
that's something that, you know, once it's done, it's done.
Mhm.
And I will just reiterate the fact that the easement and any potential protection of the land will only be on that northern portion.
Right.
She was very clear about that. She doesn't want to, you know, back herself into a corner where if she wanted to put, she's talked about maybe putting a barn on her property in the
Yeah,
future.
stone
She wants to be able
barn,
to
she
protect
wanted.
the southern portion of the property where she could still
Mhm.
potentially build
Outside
sort
of
of accessory
11.7.
Outside of the,
outside of
yeah.
the.
Okay, just want to make
Correct.
sure.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions? Comments, suggestions? Does someone want to make a motion to recommend, this would be another recommendation to the council, I would imagine, that would be
Do we have
using,
to- we have to meet with her, or
what's that,
do we have to meet with her, or can we just go right to the board?
for the council? I think what we would have to do is have a discussion to see if she's agreeable to that
Right.
dollar amount. So that would probably be our first step.
Right.
To see. I guess that's then take it to the council. So you're absolutely right. I'm jumping
No,
the
I'm
gun.
just only.
So
She didn't come to us with a number though, right?
No. she never
no,
came to
I
me.
think
Okay.
no one had an idea what because it's hard to appraise development rights.
That became clear when
Yes.
trying to find an appraiser.
Tried to
for
do
it,
it.
yeah.
Yes.
Many people said no.
Yeah.
So I guess we can entertain a motion to approach Leah Kavanaugh with this offer of 60,000 for the development rights of the 11.7 northern acres. Is that a motion, Dennis?
That's a motion.
Second,
Seconded by Rory. Any further discussion?
I just have one question, just to get a sense of how much of our funds are depleted.
By 60,000.
I mean, yeah, but do we have,
We have 1.9.
we have one, okay.
Last time I looked, based on theoretically, since we don't get a statement anymore, I've been looking at it about
Mhm.
every quarter roughly.
Okay,
All right, estimate based on what I think that the real estate tax would be to the town and then the split You know what I'm saying?
Maybe even a little bit higher because the transfers numbers have been high.
Been higher? Okay. I wrote the old numbers that way if we ever had a meeting. Here's some facts. I didn't make them out of the blue sky.
Well, I
you know what I'm
think,
saying?
this will be some questions that the finance director is gonna get some heat on here because the council's gonna wanna know, as they have asked in the past, are you, and how much money do you have?
1.9.
That's our guess.
Well, it's
It's
a pretty
more.
damn good guess.
It's a pretty good, but
Okay.
anyway, so, all right, so the next step is we've got a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approaching Leah Kavanaugh and offering $60,000 for the development rights, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so voted.
Not that, I did an analysis on Matheson. And do the equation out. I came, if you did a equal to say 12 acres, it's 70,000. So this is a good deal.
Reasonable. For both sides.
Right.
Because the other thing of it is how developable, and I don't want to get into that when you have a quarry and ledge and all that stuff. So I think the appraisal is done. I think it's a good appraisal. I think for all parties involved, I think we have to rely on it.
This guy did some good analysis work.
Yeah,
Great.
I was happy with it. Okay, next we'll move on to Grasset property and acquisition update.
Yes, so in case anybody is unaware, I know I've told a couple of you, we do have a new planning director. His name's Herb Durkee. He is from Vermont most recently, and he has a long history in municipal government as both a planner and town manager in various different areas. So this is a unique situation because in any of our times here, the town manager, the director, myself, we've never been at this stage where we've actually acquired a property for the land trust. So we're trying to rely on past experiences and our own records and state law to try to navigate what the next step is and how to proceed forward. So in doing that, we believe that the next appropriate step is to make a formal recommendation to the town council to essentially take the ball and run with it, to get this purchase and sales agreement and have the council or their designee, who I imagine would be the town manager, to sign that agreement with the property owner. So I'm drafting up that recommendation to them, that based on all of the conversations that we've had over these last few months, to purchase this property. And I guess the only thing I need from any of you is if there's anything specific that you would like to see in that recommendation. It seems pretty cut and dry to me. And they've already been briefed on it. We've had multiple meetings with them. So it's not like it'll be a surprise or anything, but if there was any specific piece of the puzzle that you think needs to be made clear in our recommendation to them, I guess, let me know now, and then I can forward that recommendation.
If I understand what you just said, we went to the town council, we went with the write-up.
Yes,
Okay, they agreed to the write-up.
yes,
The next phase, based on the past, is that Nick is going to have to do the PNS,
Mhm.
and he would catch any problem that should be discussed.
right.
So I think we'd have to kind of rely on Nick to make sure that legally the town and the land trust are covered.
Yes, so at this point, what I'm doing is I'll draft a memo to the town council to then authorize our solicitor to get that agreement and get it
I
signed.
thought we did that from the last time, we went to the last town meeting.
We had discussions regarding the property and we got their blessing, but there's been no formal.
Right, remember, that was in closed session. There's been no formal.
We need
Vote
them
of the
to.
council.
So
he's
now
just
take the
trying
ball
to-
and
He's
yeah.
just trying to, John's just trying to tie the loop together
Okay, I
procedurally.
understand, but I thought we did that already.
Right, but what I'm saying is, the process being, we make a recommendation that if you read the state law, it really makes it sound like this board doesn't have
We have no
the
authority,
authority. So,
because I have the same law. I read it.
right, so we are in this capacity to make recommendations to the council. It's ultimately their decision in any
Correct.
respect. So at this time, all we've had is closed sessions. It's now them to take our recommendation or
Right.
your recommendation in an open session and vote on it.
All right.
And they have the authority anyway,
So-
we're recommending,
We don't have any authority.
basically.
So because we have it
Well,
in
we
a
have
section,
power, but-
section where we have action on, so we can make a formal motion to recommend to the town council for the acquisition of the Grassett property and the donation, accepting the donation of the Boxdale.
So we agree to that?
What's that?
George is gonna give you the,
He's on board.
okay,
Everybody's on board.
he's gonna do his own appraisal?
We're not doing it.
No, that's why I'm
We
asking.
don't get involved in taxes. That's
That's why I asked. That's why I
You're
asked.
clear of that.
Oh, that's been made clear. That's,
What he does what he does is donation for tax reasons.
Yeah.
He's gotta take care of it.
we don't have to do any more appraisal work or anything
And
like that.
that's why I was asking. him.
All John is looking for is an official recommendation. Now that we know that we want to acquire it at the agreed upon price.
I guess a quick point of, maybe not quick, a point of discussion that hasn't quite been hashed out yet is the potential administrative subdivision to merge that portion of his property with the larger Grassett property. I know that there's been talk in the past about how regardless of the timeline for that, the land trust would be interested in the Grassett property. I just don't know, would the land trust also in their recommendation request that any potential purchase and sales agreement be contingent upon a successful subdivision? I'm just throwing it out there.
I think we would need to have that because
I
if we.
don't know if we want the piece of property to be there as our own,
Yeah,
you could go for the subject, what you're speaking of, once George has his documentation, then I think then you could,
Or the other option is to treat them completely separate.
That's
So
just what
right
I said.
now, yeah, okay.
Mm.
So at this point, you'd strictly be making a recommendation on the
Yeah,
Grassett
but-
property
No.
and then the Boxdale property separate.
Yeah.
That's another option.
because we don't want to.
It
It's a
limits,
beautiful piece of property for that
Mhm.
side of the
Could you
state.
show this to our new member? Have you seen the Grassett property? No.
Because if we don't grab this, it's just gonna drag out.
yeah, okay.
It's been dragging out for 2 years already.
I was to say, it's
Yeah.
already been dragged, yeah.
Let's just get it done and over with.
Yeah, because it was my understanding that we needed the Boxdale.
At some point, if you want to right away,
If you
Right.
want to right
If you
away
want
get
access
to that.
rights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but George, he's easy to talk to
okay. That makes sense.
because we interfaced a lot in the early days. What I'm doing now.
so this is the property right here.
0 Mumford Street.
0 Mumford Street. So right where the cursor is, that's Mumford Street there. So access to the properties is granted.
Okay.
It's that little stretch,
That little
stretch and
piece right there,
right there.
22 by
I can't read it. 22 by 90 or something like that.
22 by 70.
It
Or
looks
70,
like,
is it? All right.
actually, no, it looks
No.
like they're 23.
No, it's, you gotta go one more. John. See where it says 90.5? Oh, no.
Okay.
or
90.5
70.4 and
on the road.
22.5.
Yep,
That should be the right of way. Am I right, Glenn, in saying that?
That's correct.
Yeah, all right.
So we believe even without the Boxdale, there's still
Hey,
access.
there's a way to figure to get in there.
It's almost
Thank you.
perpendicular
okay.
down to the lower level. There is the
So
pond
Howard
there.
Avenue,
So
just, yeah, that's
the
Howard
brook
Avenue.
runs
at the
through
bottom.
Black Rock Brook and
Because you could come up the rest of and then bingo, you could swing in.
on down into the Patuxent River through Phoenix.
And see, this portion here is where we're trying to get the donation because it give us access to that parking, complete access
Mhm.
without us having to really,
Yeah.
the right of way portion there.
There's no, you can't really park anything.
Well, they're using it for their driveway. The better parking that's already built is right on that other little piece there that George
Yeah.
Boxdale was willing
There
to
was a
donate to us. as,
Conflict there with the right of way.
Yeah, and make it so much easier for us to not have to do any work.
Yeah. The other conflict is the dam. The
Well,
town
we're not
has got
touching
one,
that,
yeah.
yeah,
Part of the-
which is there.
Dam is, that's
Yeah,
all
it's not
set.
part
Yeah,
of-
that's all set, right.
That's all set.
But, you know, it's there.
Yeah, not anything we're involved with.
Yeah, nothing to do with us.
Right.
So at this point, treat them as two completely separate transactions.
Yeah, I think we,
I mean, they are.
They
two
are,
completely
yeah.
separate transactions anyway, so.
yeah, because I think we want to, no matter what, we want to preserve the Grassett property anyways, but we're trying to make it easier with the other access.
Does that answer this?
Mhm.
That answers your question. right?
Yeah, so I guess at this point, if there's just a motion to proceed forward and authorize me to draft that memo to the council, that way they can kind of now take the ball and run with it. I think that would be the next step.
I so move.
All right, motion is made by Linda to
Second,
authorize John to write the memo to proceed, seconded by Dennis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted.
stuff like this.
Yeah, well, no, it's just formalities and making sure that we keep moving and the sooner we can get that done, John, and
Yeah,
rolling. I
definitely.
know the council is very busy with a lot of different issues that they have. So I just want to get Mr. Grassett
Yeah.
and Mr. Boxdale going here. All right, any other comments or questions or discussion on the Grassett property? All right, then we'll move on to 6.3 Capuano Realty Property, Reed Schoolhouse Road. This is the 100-acre lot that's
Okay.
behind the school, Washington Oaks Elementary School. Mr. Mondo, I should say, Mondo gave me a call after our last meeting. We discussed, and again, I asked him that we needed to have a starting point in dollars. And he again said, well, make me an offer, a routine. I said, that's not our business. If you're willing to sell, what's your price and he said he'd call me back, which he did. And he came up with, he's thinking about $1.3 million.
You're kidding me, right?
No, I'm not kidding.
Can you bring up that property? Apparently there's gold on it or something.
Yes. Well, I mean,
It's
I
a-
think
it is
everybody is
It's a beautiful piece, yeah.
thinking that the world is the
Hmm.
limit right now, and
But you can't get there.
we can't get there from here
Right,
at this point.
right, it's true.
So I was getting seen on. Well,
Well, this is what we run into with a lot of people that don't.
So where the cursor is, this is Reed Schoolhouse Road, and then you take a left down the driveway, this, the Washington Oak Elementary, and then this property is behind that, so you can see it is a landlocked parcel.
Right.
So it's the challenges of land. It's landlocked. It has a huge section of wetlands on it. that
Looks
sort
like
of
some sort of power easement.
power easement across
Yeah.
it.
There's a power line.
All
so
lines.
Huge drop off.
Yeah,
Water
it's
running through it,
Yeah,
Water running through it.
and the school up at the top.
yep.
So probably a good third of it would be designated wetlands,
Mhm.
which, and again, I don't think he's had somebody go out there and really look at the property for numbers. I think this is just something that, when you say, well, someone's getting this amount for this amount of acreage, then this is gonna be worth this much, and that's not how it goes. I said I'd bring that number to you guys here to ponder, and then make any, I didn't want, I told them, we don't want to go back and forth and counter offers and this and that, just, what are you willing to reasonably sell this property to the land trust for? And that's where we're at, the 1.3, and I did sort of say, I'm not sure how far that would get past us.
We did have an appraisal done. We came with 200K. I don't know if we turned around and offered anything at that point or not.
Did he have one done?
Yeah.
He said he had one done. Was that-
No, I have it in folder. I know I do.
You have one that from him?
From him,
How many years ago was that?
probably, maybe a year and a half, 2 years?
More than that, because
More
it
than
was
that.
prior COVID, it was prior than COVID, then we started with that one.
Yep, that might be true. Yeah.
So it's probably closer to 2.5.
At one time, everything was $1 million. Anything that came to the land trust was,
That was
Well, the
like the
green
number.
property, if you go back,
yeah,
was 1.3 million, because
Yeah.
I have the letter.
yeah.
Then it dropped down to 800,000
Hmm.
over time.
Well, things could change again.
So at one point, it was.
Could we have a new assessment done? I don't know how that works or how you have the other property assessed, but
Well,
My personal comment at the moment, without giving it a lot of thought, it's landlocked. You got to get permission from the school to even get access
Mhm.
to the property, I think. Oh, yeah, that's right. You and I met with the superintendent, right?
But his only access, he owns
He
one
says a
house
One house.
Right. So
that
he
he'd
has
have
access
to sort of get rid of to build a road, and then he'd have to go through a huge development process in the wetlands. I don't think there's any consideration for how much of that, because when you go into, even trying to go into cluster development for doing something, you have to take out all that wetland and it won't count for viable acreage, because a substantial portion of it is. And if you just do it by aerial map and say that at least a third of it is easily going to be wetland. From walking it, I can tell you it was probably a third that's in
Yep.
that swamp. So it's really cuts it down to about 60 some acres of possible dry land, and then one side of it you couldn't get to.
It's very
because it-
uneven too. Yeah, it drops
Yeah,
off.
because the dry land on the far side,
Yeah.
now you got a big wetland between it, which
Yeah.
would be expensive. So it's for us, my personal feeling is that we just, pass on that and just let it go at this point. That it's not anywhere in the range of. If he wants to get another appraisal and send us an appraisal that's done by a certified appraiser, that's up to him. But I don't think we want to spend money on an appraisal when the landowner is, way overpriced.
He wanted to sell the house
Right.
too with the land
At
originally,
one point, I think
but
he did, yeah.
that wasn't part of this price.
Yeah.
No.
and I think you're right. I think it's, if we just let it go for now, because it costs us money to have an appraisal done.
So I'll entertain a motion that the chairman will reach out to Mr. Mondo and say that we're not interested at that, in that price range on the property at this time.
So moved.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I just.
Yep.
No,
All right, motion's been made by Rory, seconded by Dennis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, so voted. All right, ongoing discussion, drones, any updates?
I have no update from Mark, but there is a Rhode Island Drone Association. They are licensed pilots, so I'm going to reach out to them and see if we can get some information from them as well, if I don't get anything back from Mark.
Okay. Boundary markers, I have taken no further action.
One of the markers,
It's missing already.
Someone
we
swiped
know.
it?
So someone's already got their
I'm
first
still on
souvenir.
Jack, remember the two
Mhm,
markers?
Right, right.
What's
There's only one
going-
there.
So then there's still a whole property at the entrance. Somebody that was either tall.
Or a very industrious squirrel.
That's possible.
Well, we wondered how long it would last.
Exactly, exactly.
Maybe we gotta, I hate to put them higher because then they're out of visibility,
Right.
but we know we had some people, I guess, that were not interested in us, thinking that it was public access for all sorts of vehicles and other things. So whether that was them that decided to take our land trust sign down, who knows? But we'll proceed. It's like anything, a lot of people do a lot of vandalism. It's gonna be very frustrating in some of our kiosks and other things that even,
This was in a tree right next to it.
What is it?
Cat's eye.
put into the tree right next to
Yeah.
one.
Like they're hiding
Some
things,
new
like
technology.
geocaching or something, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I showed that to Rory.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
That was in the tree next to it. Cat's eye.
Well, not much we can do about that. So we will, have an ongoing issue, but I think my main mission is if we wanted to get down on the Trestle Trail and mark the southern boundary of Bowden anyways, to start that. And we'll have to, maybe this will be a thing for our volunteers to help us work with carrying the ladder,
Yep.
the step ladder down and carrying the drill packs and stuff with us. So probably be interesting activity for people. So why don't what we'll do at our next meeting, we'll actually set a work party date. And that way we can line up those volunteers. If we can get some volunteers to help, because carrying the little step ladder and things and our tools down there will be the part of the challenge. Kiosks. Any updates on kiosks? Somebody had a mission to reach out to the town, to Mr. McGee to see if he could help us install the sign.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We met with
Yeah,
Kevin,
Kevin.
Yeah.
okay, he's gonna be able to help us.
he's supposed to call me. He said this week, right? Or next week
In the near future.
in the near future.
Okay,
So I gave him my email number and I gave him my phone number.
okay, you might have to remind him back, because I know he's got a lot of stuff on his
Yeah.
plate too.
He seemed to be open-minded to
Oh,
the
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Yeah, I
He
think-
took all your
Yeah.
information.
Okay, good,
So
all right.
if I don't hear from him, what should we think? We should knock on the door again or just wait a couple
We'll
weeks?
give it a couple of weeks.
All right, I mark my calendar.
All right, that's for the kiosk for the
The sign.
Janice Sullivan,
Yep.
yeah, the sign.
Yeah.
Well, I'm putting that's our, we do have a separate one for signs too. And that's, so that I'm covering the sign topic. Any other information on kiosks?
I tried to look for like flyers that we could,
I have a whole folder of
Yes.
flyers. if you wanna
Okay.
Take a look at them. I gave
Yeah.
a lot to Josh, but I did find my masters. 'cause I looked for
okay,
them.
that would be good.
And you can look at them and well, some of them actually got ideas from you, Joyce, if you remember, when I first came on board.
Hmm.
A lot of that literature, I converted and modified, so to speak.
Okay,
So you can look at it,
sure.
if you think it
Okay.
helps, fine.
Okay, that would be good. And then I think I was supposed to look for.
Because I kept it kind of simple. I didn't make it complicated. The literature that Paul put together is talking about the land trust and where the properties are and so forth.
Okay,
That's,
that's what we need. It's simple. Yeah. Yeah, so basically I had been looking for something about invasive species that was already existent and I could not find anything. didn't find any flyers or anything from
From Rhode Island.
DEM or anything, not what I looked for. Anyway, the only thing I found was working for biodiversity and protection from invasive species, but it's like a 4-page thing. I don't know whether, and I don't know that it's pertinent to something we would want to put in a kiosk.
All right. Well, if someone catches something of interest, that would be
Can I look at that?
that we want to put in the kiosk, like an invasive, just a small flyer or whatever, that's fine. The other thing that we can do, and if we can get a little space in the town library and even out in the green library to put, you know, a section called land trust, and we can get things like that and just put it for in those areas. So that way someone can just pick up and not fill up our kiosk with, we don't have a lot of room
Right.
at the kiosk.
We had a nice little bordered, you know, things you might see here around the kiosk sign, wherever that might be now. You know, it was, you know, described by the biologist that, you know, this could be here and that and the other. That would be nice, just a little picture, you know, a little border picture with whatever could be found.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Okay.
That would be good, but so if, but I'm not really good about putting together that kind of visual, like, you know, like a flyer pamphlet kind of thing.
Yeah, let's not go too crazy and worry about filling up the kiosk, because with the maps and stuff, we've got quite a bit of things already.
Okay.
And it's, so I'm just thinking, you know, we talked about having, you know, like rotating, you know, ideas. And if we start developing the website, we can put these things, you know, that document can be scanned and just put in, and then we take it down a couple months
Right,
later and say,
okay.
all right, this, you know, for the summer season, summer quarter, whatever, we're gonna talk about invasives. And then in the winter, we're gonna talk about what, you know, things we might do.
Tracks in the snow.
Yeah, or something, you know, so if we just, so that there's always something new, and we just come up with a rotating, and just trying to find, you know, things that would be of interest for someone that's interested in the outdoors and land trust, and then we just have those things, just a quick document that they can open up and read. Our kiosks, like I say, are small, they're very limited as for what we're gonna
Right.
do. And then even trying to maintain them and keep them current, we're just, when we do this, if we post it to the webpage, and then 2 months later, we say, all right, we got another topic on, it's tick season, so we're gonna put that to our webpage as a reminder or whatever. So those things can be taken up and down, and
Okay,
as we get more people using our web pages and links and things, and that's that will be probably the best place, the most appropriate place for us to keep current.
If there are static things, and they can be incorporated into the map itself too. So if you have a map up there, a design around the map showing the trail could have, like, you know, this is the type of trees you'll see, or you might see a raccoon, or you might see a
Yeah.
beaver.
Yeah, that-
Incorporate that
those
that
are-
would be neat.
into the side panels of the map itself.
Okay,
Yeah, definitely. Those are things, especially with each property that has a little bit, you know, different terrain, a little bit, you know, some unique stuff to it. If we can identify those things, and then work them in, so they're on our webpage as little pieces. And a lot of it is just like, and we'll talk about Stella Hall here in a minute there, the, you know, even pictures of the water, just as, you know, the view, that just draws me. I mean, I never
Right.
knew, I've lived here all my life, I never knew that. Yeah, it's such a great, the town has such a great piece of property there. So those things are good. Like, a lot of it is just taking some ideas, and then we either got to snap a picture and work with our new talent here to figure out
Right.
how this stuff will flow best for us. So if we have some wildlife or some plants or some activity on any of these properties that we're involved with, we can throw out those ideas. And you can reach out directly to Lynn to
Sure.
say, let her know, because she can probably have a concept in her idea how it works. I don't know a lot about that stuff. I know it's great, the people that do it, I appreciate that kind of technology, because it's the way I learn a lot of things, by, you know, doing that web surfing, and I'm sure everybody else does too, and it gives you a little bit more interest in the property.
Does the commission have access to a resource to do a biological assessment of the properties? Because,
If we could-
well,
Yeah.
my wife used to work for Audubon years ago, and she was requested to do design, actually nature trails and things like that. And as far as I know, there was no cost, but that may have changed.
Yeah, that would be interesting if we could find, groups or things that would do it for pro bono.
Well, first thing is to ask Audubon. Because they have the people on staff to do it.
Yeah.
Eagle Scout merit badge, do they do those kinds of things anymore?
What they do, we talked to the high school too, their envirothon team about coming out and doing stuff. There's probably a couple of,
Envirothon just won, and they were going on
Yeah.
to national
Yeah.
Oh,
competition. I
wow,
was
that's
told.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's another connection to get the kids involved.
Right.
And, an opportunity for them to actually do something that's of value for us and for the community. I think it goes back, we had started developing the relationship with the superintendent, and then COVID came along, and that's, at that point, we weren't interested in going into the schools, nor were they interested in
They won't let us at the school.
inviting people to share the resources. But Craig Levis was very interested in being part, his school staff or his team being part of these things. So maybe it's time to reignite that conversation with them this summer before they start school season. And that's where we actually left it, that we would have another meeting with them to go over the things that they could actually do, including some of this stuff of, photographing and helping us with the trails and letting the kids have a little bit of ownership in our community, which will make it a better community. So let's, I'll put that on my action item to talk to Craig and see if we can set up a meeting with him or have him come to one of our meetings and just talk 5-10 minutes about different ideas of things on how, he's got to be the one that tells us which people to talk to and how to get this rolling and bounce some ideas off. All right, signs, any other issues other than you guys have already reached out? Kevin, so getting the Janice Sullivan sign in.
When I had mentioned using lumber that we had, and the pieces are about this big, I thought they were longer, but it
Okay.
would not work.
All right, so I'm sure probably if we put our list of supplies together for the various signs, and we're talking about the signs that, out on Stella Hall, that would mark, direction this way, like an arrow sign with the trail on those, especially in the sandy areas where there wasn't anything. Of course, we're probably going to see that they disappear unless we.
You and I talked about that, remember?
That problem has probably been resolved because of the rerouting near the water. There'll be trees that can be used.
That you can use for marking. Yeah, okay. That'll work. All right, let's go on to general trail system and maintenance. And I know Dennis and Jack have a little bit of update on some areas, and I think Linda, you gave me an update on a tree that was
Yes.
cleaned up on
Yes.
one property, which was good that I didn't have to go into it.
Yeah, so basically there's a tree down on the access to Whipple property from the Trestle Trail.
Mhm.
And it was a fairly large tree, but I guess Parks and Rec must have gone in there and cleared it.
Yeah, they've usually done it. at
So,
Whipple.
because we were supposed to go and photograph it for you folks, and when we got there, by the time we finally got there, because there was a lot of other things going on in our lives, it was already cleared, so.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Parks and Recreation maintains that whole, those, was it 3 or 4? No, 2 or 3 properties there.
Right there.
Yeah, they maintain that automatically.
Okay,
Mhm.
So it was just a matter of time before they would
Right.
get there. Mhm.
Habit, let them keep the
Yeah,
habit.
oh, yeah,
Yes.
whenever
Yeah.
they got first bought, I guess with Paul and I,
Yeah.
that it started and it stuck, so.
Well, they had the staff. That was why
Yes.
Paul gave it to them, because it wasn't DPW, but it's recreation.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Well, that guy, he did a lot of good things.
Yeah, he had a mechanism to say, I'm sure, when we talked a little bit about the mowing of the
Yeah.
property, but anyways, no, so that's
Outside of
good.
that, I mean,
Yeah, that's good. And that is a popular area, so at least
Yes.
I got dealt with. And the Dennis and Jack, do you have something update for Bowden Trails?
Bowden Trail, we were advised that there was a tree down Friday, and then Saturday we took care of that.
Excellent.
We trimmed up a few other things that were like
on the trail,
in the way a little bit.
yeah.
All in all, we got a update from the area of Bramble Bush West to the head part of Bowden on 2 walkers that came through. You know, they told us that was all clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they continued along. So
How about Stella Hall? You want
Stella Hall, you can handle Stella Hall.
Huh?
You can take Stella Hall.
All right, if you remember those 2 big trees that were on the trail on that loop in the back over here,
Mhm.
we cut all that down and moved it out of the way and opened it up, and then where hopefully, which his name is gonna go in the back to here, they get the junk.
All right.
There was a tree, another big tree. I mean, that sucker was big.
The yoke.
Yep, right. And we took that out of the way, so we were there a good 4 or 5 hours,
We were there a little bit, yeah.
yeah.
I put on, I think, 12,000 steps on my Fitbit.
Get it some credit.
good for you.
So this whole trail is open now,
Okay.
Nice.
Okay,
okay?
excellent.
All we gotta do is get the garbage out of here and out of here. You and I could do the small trail, right, the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can trim that.
yeah, we can do that, but this one in the back, that's the biggie.
Okay, well, let's move on to land trustees tax sheet, since then we'll move on to mapping.
Well, let me make one quick comment before we go there. Candace is no longer gonna be on the state land trust.
Wow,
She's getting a
Moved
new
on.
job. And did you
Yeah.
get, I sent you
Yeah,
a
I
copy, you did,
yeah, I
right?
get
Because I
that.
put you on copy,
Yep,
since you're gonna be.
yes, yeah.
So her replacement is not assigned yet. So we have until August 5th to do the write-up. I'm not August, yeah, August 5th. So I was gonna send it to, I think her name is Kate,
Kate Sales?
Kate Sales. I was gonna send it to her.
sure.
Now, after that, I'm not sure what happens. You know what I'm saying? So if they don't post it or they don't hire someone, how do we want to try to advertise this? I'm just thinking of ahead.
I think Kate Sales is gonna be
She's gonna be okay?
the contact, yeah.
All right, so that takes, oh, another comment. We were talking Saturday, the 18th.
September 18th.
Yeah, not looking at the calendar when I brought it up. I double checked the calendar, I guess yesterday or the day, whatever day I did. If we want to stick to Saturday, it's just gonna be the 17th. Okay,
You had last year's calendar.
that's what I looked at, that was the problem. So I looked at 22, so. So I'm gonna change it to Saturday the 17th. Yeah. I think, what time do we want to do this? 10 to 2, is that, or 10 to 1? Or
I
what do
think
we-
10 to 1.
10 to
I mean,
1.
I would cover it. That way people that had stuff to do and wanted to go for a lunch walk or whatever.
Fine,
10 to
10
2 was too long. I think we decided that the 2.
Okay, yeah, last year we decided, I now remember, all right, so to 1 PM, right?
10 to 1, Saturday, September 17th, still a whole.
So. All right. So I got the,
All right, anything else? Everyone we went over the task sheet. Anything that we need that we haven't had follow-up on?
well, we still got the cleanup, which is the, if we don't get it done by middle of July, it's gonna create a problem. Unless you just want to leave the stuff in this bag. Was to take it out with the wheelbarrow. It's not gonna work.
Many wheelbarrow loads, too heavy.
Oh, yeah, plus it's too heavy.
Oh, yeah, and we talked about also seeing if the town could,
That's what we talked, yeah, we talked
We
about
we
that.
did discuss that.
Yeah,
okay. So let's hope that they can follow through on that end.
this is not, it's not gonna become a problem.
You're nervous.
So I'll jump back there. It ain't easy to get out.
No, it's a distance in and they
Right.
need their machine to do it.
Yep.
Okay. We'll see what we can get.
Are we going on this tax sheet now?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're on the still whole,
All right, so the B is all set. I see the entrance. Do we wanna cut that area? Jack and I will cut a path or.
trim the brush back on the edge. Yeah, we're orange vests.
Well, we thought we'd get out there and direct traffic.
No, I'd be out there directing traffic. Yeah, I think just take some clippers and clip that back so people won't brush against the brushes walking in. And I think like we sort of did at the entrance of Janice Sullivan, like the
Right.
week before, we just mowed and, I brought down my push mower and
Mhm.
weed whackers and
And
stuff.
this will be
Just
Stella Hall.
yeah, and this,
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
to do the same thing like we did at Janice Sullivan, the week before. Just, mow the edge there and just trim it. That way people can, the front side will look nice going in.
All right, so we'll have to make assignments next month for sure, date and time.
That's the entrance way.
Yeah.
What else on your list that you're concerned with?
All right, the kiosk, we know we gotta repair that. I don't wanna repair it too soon, specifically because
It's gonna get possibly pulled apart.
I don't know what to do about it. I really
I
don't.
think we do that the day of the event.
We electrify it. No.
Or just, electrify it.
Put up little blink cameras.
Yeah, eventually.
Those
it
will
may-
get stolen too, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, eventually.
Hide them in the tree somewhere, wildlife camera and
Yeah.
put it up there.
If we continue to have vandalism, then we'll end up having to do something like that. You hate to
Yeah.
Hate
I
to
mean,
have to
it's-
do that, but
The lock would be, you have to, no, put a little, take the other one out. The problem is, once you do all this, if you're gonna come back 2 weeks later, and who knows, they can knock it down for all I know.
Right.
yeah, you know what I do is I just take it out and put a regular hook and eye on it and just leave it like that for now. I mean, so we can open and close it. And if someone wants to take all of our stuff out of it, so be it. We'll bring,
More stuff?
fresh stuff for the day of the event. That's the purpose of getting everything online is that, so we know that we're not gonna drive by there every day to check. And it's just, it's unfortunate.
All right, so it's kind of like play it by ear at this point.
Yeah. I
All
don't
right.
think we wanna go crazy on it. Just have it look good for the day of the event.
All right.
and stuff.
Task keys, material, tools, that's nothing. Trail, we can talk about the map after,
Whenever you're ready.
okay. So we're working, Jack and I work at the trail, so we've got a few more things to do in the trails.
Mhm.
And-
We did a substantial amount of wood cutting,
Yeah,
Excellent.
enough to go through a tank full of gas.
Well,
Wow.
That's
you're
right.
busy. You're
Wow.
busy.
We
Appreciate that,
just-
thank you.
the last one. we
The last
just made
one.
it.
Just made it.
Wow.
Okay, great.
All right, so packet information. I'll just give you what I did at Bowden property and what I gave Josh to do for Stella Hall, which is basically the same, some modification. And you can decide. And I usually laminate it. So when you put it in the kiosk, the moisture on it doesn't get to it, you know what I'm saying?
So, so you want me to basically go over the wording? Is
I
that-
mean, you can look at it. I mean, if
Okay,
that was your I'm not sure if it was or not. But if it's your task, you have the review process and the control.
okay. So you'll email it to me. I'll go through it and,
All right, I could do that too.
yeah.
All
And
right.
then, and to get it laminated, I don't,
I have some of the stuff I've been using. I can give you.
okay, okay.
It's kind of sticky. If you don't get it right the first time, you gotta
Oh,
throw it in the
shit.
garbage and
Yeah.
start over. All right, so I owe you that, I guess. Oh, now, oh, Roy, you're next.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'll let you go.
Oh,
Right here. Donations.
Donations,
business,
yep,
and
look at the
raffle.
business and raffle stuff, snacks, yep. Well, I saved all the information we did from the last year,
So-
but I'll hit the same businesses again.
This is like, you know.
Yeah.
Do one wing, you do them all.
Yep, that's right.
This repetition.
Works out well.
Okay, refreshments. Oh, we got you, water with you, Linda, right?
Yeah,
Roy, you got,
Yeah, usually I get BJ's to donate the waters and stuff, so I'll do that. Yep.
okay, so that's all set then, all right. So I'm not gonna say that again. Support supplies. Oh, there's another one, Roy. First aid kit, you doing again?
Yep.
Bags of ice is gonna be Jack, Linda, and Rory.
Mhm.
Coolers.
Coolers,
We're taking
or
coolers.
ice
too.
chests, yep,
Mhm.
Jack and Rory. Tick spray, that's gonna be me.
Mhm.
You got the pop-up tent. Okay. 2 tables
Tables and chairs, pop up tent, I got them.
and 10 chairs. Okay, the portable John. That'll be you, right?
That'd be me.
All right. Napkins and towels, that's me. Signage, 2-sided. That's me. Guess I put on the Phillips head and at the other end. So on right, all right. That's pretty much it. Everybody has a copy of this task sheet, right?
Probably.
Probably somewhere. I do.
You probably got so
I
many
know I
copies of
have it.
But
That's
since
it.
my name's not on anything.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Good. Can you send it again?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
In the cones. I did leave
Yeah,
like
which is
page 3 of our minutes with,
Which is name already told us.
With
We're gonna
Director
get you 6
McGee.
cones.
so he would know I wanted the cones, but I haven't gotten a reply, you know.
No, he said he was,
But that was days ago.
yeah, he knows about,
He knows.
Yeah.
He
He
shows a
knows.
copy of your
Yeah.
letter.
Okay,
yeah, so he knows.
you got him with everything else.
Question or a suggestion or a thought. Once those cement
Oh, yeah.
barriers are moved and there's easy access, should a new chain be put in place so it doesn't invite people to go up there and dump? With a key being probably at DPW, a key being left there.
Probably. Yeah, DPW doesn't do regular maintenance there, so they probably wouldn't need a key. So,
Well,
yeah,
But they have to be able to get in when they have to do,
The beaver dam, if they go up and jump to.
they have to do some checking there.
okay, yeah. So, I mean,
And
yeah,
if
they should
Parks and
probably have a
Rec
key.
needs a key or whatever, so there's a key designated places, but, so there's access to vehicles doing maintenance, but not for other unwanted vehicles.
At this point, I don't know how you're gonna stop them from coming in.
Well, with the chain,
That ain't gonna stop them.
well,
Like, didn't it cut the
Because they,
chain?
even on Bolton property, when you and I were out there,
mhm.
was it Saturday? You can see that they're in there.
ATVs,
Yeah.
yeah, the ATVs are
They can
almost
get in
impossible. They can get
anywhere,
around. I think what Jack's talking about
There's
is
trucks.
the pickup
It's
trucks.
yeah.
To dump.
Don't
Because of
make
that.
things.
Would they go all the way back there purposely?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
they'll
we
go
just-
back there. They'll go
they
back there
dump
for
stuff.
4-wheel
Yep.
in that sand.
All right.
I mean, I think, if we move the blocks permanently, then the chain has to come back.
Mhm.
I mean,
But they moved the blocks
Yeah.
anyhow.
yeah, we don't know who moved them,
Well, that's true too, but,
right?
all right.
We didn't ask directly to Kevin.
Have they been moved?
He did
since
not.
I was there?
Oh, that's right. We did ask
He
Kevin.
didn't touch
he
it.
did not move.
He did not move.
So
That's right.
somebody with a machine,
Had
because
to
you're not
be.
gonna do that by hand,
Well, they're pretty
3,000
big.
pounds apiece.
Kevin said he did not move.
It's getting more and more like we're gonna need a camera at the front entrance there. If someone's actually coming with a machine to move
Or a
blocks to
winch
go
or
in.
something,
they-
yeah, to move.
With that kiosk and all that rigmarole, they left a few notes and they're not gonna, for some reason, they're not gonna give up.
Well, they will if they get caught.
Too bad we can't enlist them to pull out the trash and then tell them they
Yeah.
can't come in any longer. You
Well, I
know,
They
think
use
it's
the
more-
ATV to get the trash and that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's their version of the sand dunes used to be. a place to go spin your
Yeah,
tires and
yeah.
probably jacked up pickup trucks and they want to go in there because it's close and they're
Mhm.
probably, but if they're actually now moving the 3,000-pound cement blocks to get in there, they broke the chain, damaged and left some messages. So I think maybe what we need to do is talk with the police chief and ask them for some, suggestions that we have this issue going on, just to get them involved a little bit.
So they're aware of it, yeah.
Right,
Jack, you want to handle, since you're talking to the community police officer,
we're gonna do that?
you two
Yeah,
tag team?
okay, you wanna go
Okay,
Friday?
we'll go make an appointment somehow.
All right. It's
Yeah,
gotta-
just to get them on board and say, we're doing some, publicity here, so there'll be more people, using the property, but we can't, we don't want people tearing
You
this
don't
up.
wanna
and-
invite a problem.
Right, and people are moving 3,000-pound blocks, so it's, if they go into that extent, that's pretty serious. Yeah, just to
And
bring
I
them
don't
on
think
board.
Kevin wants the blocks in place all the time to hinder his people.
No,
because he got some
I think the
machine every
chain,
time
the
to move.
chain or a gate is
Yeah.
the proper thing. I don't like the blocks there because if somebody falls in the pond and is drowning out
Right.
there, or we have a
Yeah.
brush fire, I'd like to be able to
Yeah.
get the fire truck or the brush truck out there. Blocking access like that to, that's why on like Trestle Trail, they have the bollards that they can take off and just go right down. So we have to be, cognizant of the fact that we may have an emergency on our property or on the town's property, and cement blocks aren't the way to really, should be stuff that, the fire department has a key to, or, access to. I mean,
They
they
have-
can come
yeah.
with the
Big keys.
snippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get their permanent
The
keys.
universal key.
But they can't do it with the block, so that's why I'm more
Mhm.
comfortable with the chain. But we need to get the police chief at least up to snuff to, they'll never catch them in there. But maybe, they may get to the point if we continue to have vandalism that.
Camera.
Yeah, I think before we do that, we need to talk to the police and the town manager. That, a lot of times they don't want you putting surveillance up without their knowledge. It's not our jurisdiction to start doing the surveillance. I'd post Dennis and Jack right in the woods. That'd be the best surveillance. But let's just get the
Yeah.
police chief, and then, if we continue to have this, then we'll talk to the town manager and see what they want to do for methodology.
So when do you wanna do that, Jack?
Well,
I'll leave it up.
we'll talk about it.
Okay. She's a,
Okay, so the next part is our mapping. A lot of good stuff happening.
I got six copies of the latest version. where people have to- I haven't made any changes to it since Larry and Dennis commented on it. So they have some
we're good.
comments, and this does not reflect those. So this is just a first cut at, I'm sorry, did you want me to?
No, go, you're doing this. This
Then
is great.
I should
No, this is-
jump in.
Jump.
So Jack and Dennis and I and Larry came along as well to give us moral support, and we went out and used a GPS to walk the trails, and this is what the result is.
Got it online.
The brown line is basically the trail system as it exists now. I put markers on it to show the distances for each segment.
That's great.
The green lines show the terrain, contour lines. I can't remember exactly what those were. I think they're 5 feet apart. But mostly I did that just to kind of give it an aesthetic, not necessarily to suggest that people climb up the hill or anything, but to try and make it stand out. One of Larry's ideas was to try and put more tree cover kind of things on the part that's more vegetated. So I'm gonna work on that.
Mm.
But
That's nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm certainly open to comments, suggestions, critiques. If you don't like the colors.
No, I think
That's great.
I think it's
when I saw
good.
it, it said, well done, very well done, very professional.
I know very often, my husband and I like, well, we want to take a 2 mile hike. And you've done this in feet.
I converted it to miles if you want to know.
Yeah, can you, okay,
They'll be very small in this
Yeah.
case. I mean,
No,
720
yeah.
feet is like 0.00 something.
Yeah, the longest trail is a half,
Miles. So,
plus or minus a tenth,
okay.
yeah.
half a mile.
Maybe not necessarily every place, but
Mhm.
like, total trails.
Okay.
From here to here. Coming up this way, there's that going up, coming this way is a half a mile, plus or minus a
Okay.
tenth.
Okay.
The rest of
Okay. So
down in here, if you do the whole loop, is a quarter mile,
Mhm.
plus or minus a tenth. This is
you
nothing.
could section it off
Yeah.
to say, this distance is 0.2 miles or something like that.
Right,
Mhm.
right. Because I know that when I go to other places, that
Mhm.
some of it, often what I see,
Right.
this is a quarter-mile trail.
And I actually tried to do it in miles first, but the segments were so small. It just
Yeah.
didn't seem to
Yeah,
make sense, but I can definitely work on that. aspect.
Because if you want, I mean, you can check the numbers, but I already marked it already.
And then the other question is, what do we call that big area in the center where there is no trail? But Jack and Dennis refer to it as the desert.
We just call it the, I mean, we just
But there's
went there a
nothing
couple
in
of
there,
days
right? I
and
mean,
we
we didn't
just,
even
oh,
walk in
the
there,
desert,
so
but,
I don't know really. It's not wetland, it's this big brushy area. So. it
So
might-
this area here, you're talking
Yeah,
a big.
yeah.
so it's more brushy than,
it's more
Forest,
sand
yeah.
than brushy. I
Let's
think.
see, just sand and.
Yeah.
Which area are you referring to?
The
This-
big, the big one in the
Yeah.
middle, yeah.
Well,
Wetland.
it's wet too.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
some wet spots through there
Wet.
too.
Okay.
I know off this edge, well, you can see sort of right in there where these little green dots, it's wet
Mm,
there. I haven't,
Some of those low spots.
Mhm.
Yeah, we didn't walk in it at all, so I
Yeah.
don't really have a
Right.
sense for what it is or what to call it, but I have a feeling that if people see this map, they're gonna wanna know what
yeah,
is
it looks,
this?
yeah, it looks
So
like
do we just say
Quicksand.
no
That's-
trails in here or?
quicksand. You'll have everybody in there to see. if it
Yeah.
is.
See how quick it is.
Yeah,
Um,
stay out.
It should be labeled in some way, shape or
Yeah.
form.
The
and-
problem is how do you label it, because it's,
Right,
So, and it's not my suggestion to make it sound more appealing is that this is set aside for nature kind of thing, but it sounds like it's more sandy and not.
have you been to?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to come up with an
No,
idea.
that's what we had the problem. So joking around, we just, no, it's a desert, you know?
Right,
And but I think between us it's stuck, but I don't know how we want to label it. That's all.
And we don't need to decide on it now, we'll just,
Give
it
think
some
about it
thought.
over coffee in the morning or whatever.
Some of these change, I
Okay.
just added some color here. I didn't put down the amount, but I did,
Oh, great,
I
okay,
did do this.
okay, yep, the wetland symbols, sure,
Yeah.
I can intersperse those in there, yeah,
And I only colored this just to,
set it off,
yeah.
yeah.
Color.
This is the trouble, is it's kind of a strange
It's
area.
a, yeah, yeah.
It's just, it's very
If you have a
strange
better,
area.
I don't know, I don't know how you label it. I have no
I mean,
idea.
I don't know, is there any plan to put trails in there?
On this,
Yeah,
No, I
I don't
don't
think
think so.
so.
I think because it does go from wetland into some brush undergrowth and,
Maybe that's what you call it, like undeveloped or brush and growth, non-passable or something.
I walked along this ridge for quite a while trying to see what kind of access there was, and it would have been a hell of a bushwhack.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very dense.
okay,
Maybe call it dense undergrowth or overgrowth.
But this,
Yeah, it was over here you were walking, right, Larry?
Along the ridge.
The red.
Up here.
towards your left hand more.
Well, it was this here, along here.
yeah, but we're talking about this whole general area.
Right, and then I
know,
walked
some-
as close as I could along this wedge,
Mhm.
looking down into here. 'cause
Right.
It's, I mean, it's like a 20, 30 foot drop.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a big, And it's, yeah, it's really, it's, you know, there's a lot of heavy brush, there's, you know, it's, we just need to come up with a name because it does stick out like it's something and just, whether we put, you know, heavy undergrowth or
I mean, I don't want to
whatever.
call it all wetland because it's not all
Right,
wetland.
it's
I could-
not.
I
Right.
could say something like dense overgrowth, impassable area or something like that. but-
I don't know if you want to say impassable area.
That's a challenge.
Yeah, but if
Once
we
they
use
get
some,
there-
there's gotta be some buzzword that we can think of, and you know, natural, like I say, I think Linda had it, you know, nature,
Natural.
natural,
Mhm.
you know, we won't put, impassable, we'll just put, you know.
A natural area, a
Yeah,
natural,
yeah,
say what?
nature area, natural area, yeah, just
All right, do natural. area.
wildlife area.
Mhm.
Natural area then,
Mhm.
Okay. Got it.
so that's gonna be a natural area.
And then for the parking, in the legend there, you'll see I put the longitude and the latitude because it's kind of off the trailhead.
Mhm.
And I don't know if most people will understand what that is. Hopefully they will, but if they're-
Okay, you just
if
put
they're
that,
walking on a trail, theoretically, they have experience with knowing what,
Yeah,
Mhm.
but if you don't like that or keep that.
can you do like we did on the boat, probably just put this up, not. Where is it? Well, we did with the boat, probably, we put the symbol, yeah, north. Directional,
Oh,
And
yeah,
then-
it's up at the top, right?
this over here?
Yeah.
All right,
Mhm.
that's what I thought, but most of the people, most maps I've seen for the trails. It actually does, you know, the north, south, east, west as the symbol, so they know when they pick up the map, they know
Okay.
which way is north.
Compass route.
compass, the compass. reference,
Indicated
yeah.
north, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Position north.
You have the north symbol there, right?
Mhm.
And is the placement of the north arrow there okay, or would you rather have me put that down in the lower right corner of the map?
Put it down in the lower corner. Based on what I've seen, all the other maps.
Yeah, you can put it right next to the, well, I don't want to reference the town of Coventry now, but yeah, I think maybe down lower would be.
I can't find the copy of the boat.
So yeah.
Is this what you're looking for, Dennis?
Yeah, that's it.
The voting.
Indicated north,
Mhm,
and you have your scale.
mhm. Okay,
And see, we did put some marks in here like this, yeah, a little danger mark rocks, like you were talking about before, indicating, so, you know what I'm saying? We did all the wetlands showing that,
mhm.
and these are all easy. This is all easy. This is not complicated.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
The only thing at the time I couldn't get, he ran out of time, is to actually put them, how many miles. So when I did the map manually, I put, you know, this is 2.5 miles round trip or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, the problem with this one again is that those,
Jack, thank you.
it depends, like, if someone's walking along the trail from the trailhead, right, they go this to the first turn to go to the loop.
Mhm.
The loop's very small, so you can't really put, I mean, you could say it's 0.05 miles or something.
Right.
The round trip, I don't know whether to include, what do I include as the round trip? And so is the round trip, the loop and
I
this
broke it
loop
down,
and backwards?
I took this to be the long trail from the beginning, like this, you know, just like so. I made this a half a mile plus or minus a tenth. I made this a separate section,
Okay,
all right?
Yep.
And
So if you could, maybe if you're doing mileage from trailhead to trail end,
that's a half a mile.
that's
plus
a
or minus.
half a mile, so
plus-
say that. And then with side trails and additional.
Well, are we gonna color code these trails?
Jack and I
don't
talked
know
about that
whether-
already. We're
So
not
if we
sure.
went with the white trail being the long and then, then you do a different trail here and
The
whatever.
problem is, the markings are not that easy.
No, because we don't have
We don't have that, like with the Bowden property and stuff,
Right.
and you had the trees, you could do it, you know what I'm saying? But at the fork, right here, we can mark this, we decided we're gonna mark there's two trees here we can mark. But we didn't decide, I'm sure between the two of us we'll come up with an answer, but
Yeah, well, I was just thinking if we adopted this and changed the color from brown to the white trail and this one to be the yellow trail and this little piece, then you could have a little thing that says,
Jack,
the
can I
white
run that
trail
again?
is,
Please.
1/2 mile or whatever, and then this little short section is point
Mhm.
whatever, and
Yeah,
just
it's
add
a
that
tenth of
as.
a mile, that's all
Yeah,
that
tenth.
is, not even
Yeah,
a
it's
tenth.
not even a tenth, yeah, 3.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
it's,
so I think that the good point here is we've got a starting point.
Yeah.
Of very good work, and I like the format. I think it's gonna be very helpful to.
see what we'll get here.
you-
And we did this, the blue trail, yellow trail, white trail, you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if we had colors, it would be
Yeah,
much easier.
so I think
to-
that's what we're gonna decide. If you
to,
guys wanna do a color scheme, does that make sense that we call this trail, so someone knows that they're walking this way, the white, and then you make this the whatever color bypass, around that way, and
This would be a separate color all
Right.
by itself.
Right,
This
that
would be a color all by itself going to the
Yeah.
end of the island.
Mhm.
This would be a break off, this would be another color. Okay, coming back to here. This is so small, I probably wouldn't even idea it. It doesn't mean it's,
well, we just call it down to the Beaver Dam Trail or whatever, but
Hmm.
I think that's probably easier for what people, I like the concept that we did with the Bowden property, just to have not that we have harder locations to mark. But maybe that's the way to go for the future.
So,
I see 3 colors that we need.
yeah,
okay, you see three
Three?
colors?
Yeah.
yeah.
One from the initial,
Jack, you got that? Won't you mark up what color you think they should be? You got a pen? We'll talk after?
yeah,
Trailhead.
we'll see how much paint we've got left over. We can,
I still have, I have much of each color, you know?
Okay.
We have enough to do it.
well, I think from the leftovers from the other,
From the other two
Yeah.
trail,
yeah, we'd have one major one. This would be a minor.
Yeah.
And the loop would be a minor.
would be mine.
Mhm.
All right, so we figured it out. We just gotta do
Okay,
it.
yeah, just let me know what the colors are and then I
Yeah.
can change it on the map.
Can I give you this as a reference?
Sure. Yep. Thank you.
That's the indicator.
Okay, yeah. It's, okay. The other thing, I don't know who can get me a high-res version of the town logo.
Oh, yeah, John, I put that.
Yeah,
Or can somebody give me
That
a
was attached to.
Oh,
it.
I imagine I could find something
JPEG or a
in our
PNG
files
that's in-
somewhere.
Because the one that I stuck on there is just clipped out of the web page and it's.
Does the
very
commission have a logo?
pixelated.
All right.
We have our own little logo that is on our little sign, the little signs, but I think having a town, do we want to put our land trust logo also?
Well, all the other maps we've done, if I can see that again, I don't know if we can do that,
No.
okay? Because we don't really, it's the town that really owns all the property, not us. When we do letters and presentations within the town, I use that logo, you know what I'm saying? But when you start doing it to the public, I don't know if we can do that or not.
Well, let's just leave it with if we get a good version. of
Unless
the-
John has, you've got something I don't know.
I am pretty sure I can find a high res
Do you want to copy this and
version of
cut
the.
and paste?
What I'm saying is I think I can get the original
logo.
version rather than
Yeah,
scan
the-
that
the
in.
elephant.
We would have a better
Original file
version.
that was- Whoever
Yeah.
designed it, I need the actual original. file.
Right. Yeah, so I should be able to find that and I can send that off to Lynn.
Thank you.
It would fit there.
I mean, I don't know if it's different in in Massachusetts, but in Massachusetts, all the land trusts have their own logo on their own maps.
They do.
But they're private nonprofit or,
They're both,
Because-
they're both.
Yeah.
They have public and,
Yeah. So it is something to consider for the future, just because you guys are putting in all this work, you want to be acknowledged as having a role to play. in-
So we had created a letterhead. I could also forward that version to Lynn as
yeah,
well.
let's forward that to Lynn and see if it's something that we can find a spot that would go on the, that would be, work fine. Let's see what it looks like anyways. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Picture Dennis on there instead.
Not me, I put Jack.
Okay, well, thank you for your input.
Well, certainly appreciate, yeah.
That's good.
Do you want this or?
Sure.
All right, so, like I said, I already marked this up. Do you want this for, just for?
Nope, I'm good, because I have your email that suggested that, you know.
I just did some cut and paste.
Yeah, well, I'm
the
gonna actually
wetland,
put the
the
symbols
wetland
on
survey
the-
marks.
Yep.
That little, those little grass tufts.
I like to try to set this aside. So,
Yep, yeah, I'll work on that.
and what was that, what did you suggest?
I think wildlife area might be.
But it's no well, I mean,
A little wet.
Well,
Yeah, think of some boat, sometimes you see
There's no-
undisturbed natural area.
Natural
Yeah.
area might be good.
all right, I think we just did it.
Forest preserve.
Why can't we just say natural area?
Natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like a lot of sand, I'm being honest.
Yeah,
with
I just put undisturbed natural area, just so.
Maybe put ticks and
undisturbed-
briars that stay out.
Yeah, that'll say, oh, it's
Yeah.
undisturbed. At least some of the
Yeah.
hikers will say, oh, we're not supposed to go in
Yeah,
there. At least
when-
that's what
when
I
you-
would do.
that's
if
what I
saw
would
that
do,
on the
yeah.
map.
That's
I'd
right.
say, I'm not supposed to
Go
go
there.
Yeah.
Right.
you. So what did we decide to put in here? now?
Undisturbed natural area, that's like that.
That's what we're gonna put?
Yep.
You have this copy, right?
Yep, I have that.
You have a copy, right?
Yeah. That's
Would
great.
it be beneficial if my husband and I walked it and at least, not that we're experts, but we could probably do a quick survey of the bird life and in that. record.
Well, that goes into stuff we can put on the
Right.
web page saying, birds that that have been
Might be
seen here,
covered.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to, what, you and your husband wanna walk it, use that
Ducks
map?
out there.
Yeah, I've got that map. So,
We saw those.
but I mean, we've got a new app that Bob just downloaded where you walk and you record the noises around you and it tells you what birds you're hearing.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're not in this, so not that we're experts on birding, but I could probably walk through and say, okay, we've got a pine warbler here. We've seen wood ducks on some pond,
Well, you could do your
Plants
first,
too.
what's that?
And for plants too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can just put your iPhone.
yeah,
or
we've taken pictures of things.
they'll
and just
identify it, yeah.
identify it.
Mhm.
I mean, those are, anything like that for any of the things is great, and to be added to our webpage for thing, birds you may see or plants and, that's. I mean, you have some people that are really, into each and one of these little things, and anything that we can do to grab somebody else's interest or add a little bit, that's perfect. That's great.
I just thought of this, is there any way you can put under here, if you're gonna move this symbol down here, I guess. One of the things that I thought, like add conservation area underneath here.
And under the paragraph here, just put conservation.
Well, under this
area.
title,
Oh, sure, yeah,
because see, what we have Bolton, and it says conservation area.
yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Mhm.
My way of thinking is I like to try to be consistent
Oh, yeah.
overall with the
Yeah,
maps.
Yeah, no, we'll need to do that. And so, yeah, that's the thing now. If we have this as a template, if you don't like the colors, if you don't like the font, if you don't like the symbols, like for parking, you want me just to have a P instead of a circle. you don't like the little guy hiking.
No,
I mean, those are
I
all
like the
type
little
of
guy
things
hiking.
that,
Where's the little guy?
And I
I
call him
like.
Jack. I just want a second guy that I can call Dennis, so then I get the two. No, I think those,
good.
and having those
Yeah.
consistent, like Dennis says.
So that one there, I think
all
all we had
together.
was the P, right? I forgot. what we
Mhm.
did.
Yeah, all you have is the P.
At the time, that's what we chose to do. I don't know why, but we did.
Okay. I mean, all of this stuff is very easy to do in the software that I have, so.
Okay.
All right, but you had this. what we
I have,
discussed.
that's the email you sent me. Yep, yep, I have that.
All right, so we can
Yep.
put that underneath
Mhm.
and know about this.
Yep. Yep.
Can we,
Color that in. I'm gonna.
I
color
mean, if
that
we
in.
can, I don't know what, I just
Yeah,
chose this.
I might have
color.
to come up with some sort of symbol or something to spread throughout there too, like the wetland tops of grass. I
Which
would
is up
try and
here.
Choose another, no, I would choose a different symbol, but some
understand,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
symbol that would designate sort of that area as being.
I only chose
undisturbed
yellow
natural
only
area.
because
Mhm.
that's what popped in my head. I thought it's,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And you can convert feet to,
I can.
well, I'm not, I didn't mean, I said that the wrong way.
I understand. I
Said that
understand.
the wrong way.
I understand. Thanks for your input.
All right, well,
Okay,
thank you for the great
Come up
work.
with any other ideas outside, feel free to let me know.
Great. All right, next on the agenda.
Guys?
is-
Thinking ahead. We don't really have a map for Whipple property, do we? So that could be our next task, right? To do a map for Whipple
Yeah,
property,
that would be good.
try to get it standard somehow between, I mean, similarities, but not off the wall, different, but standardization.
Mhm.
Where they kind of look together and,
Yeah, so we would just set up a time when you guys.
yeah,
can
but
walk
I want to get
along
this
the
one done
trail.
first, because this is for land trustee.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't mean to say it that way.
No, I think that we've got a priority here. We want this one, and then
But I'm thinking,
Whipple would be next as an area that we, because we want to add our,
because that's on the website as a trail, so we want to get a map attached to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And we live near Whipple. So, and my husband and I, will hike it often. So if we
Well,
wanna-
next time you're out there,
Okay,
give me a buzz and I'll bring my little GPS and we can walk it.
All right.
okay.
Because I mean, there's no reason why we have to wait to do that work.
Yeah.
until-
no, at least you can get the GPS
Yeah,
side of it
done,
done, yeah.
Mhm.
But we gotta have that thing ready for,
It will be ready.
okay.
I'll work up until the last minute if I have to.
I'm not sure she's trying to.
She's got her orders.
I saw a boardwalk through Sandy Acres and I can't find it again. Have you hiked through Sandy Acres, walk south, walk Sandy
Off.
Bottom?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, boardwalk in
I'm
there.
trying to
Yeah.
get this
Yeah.
done sometime.
Yeah, I know
tomorrow.
you mentioned a boardwalk before. I didn't realize there was
Attach
one
sheet.
in there.
Oh,
yeah.
good,
And
thank
I
you.
think part of why you can't find it is because there was all this construction going on and you couldn't access it for a while because the trucks
Ah,
were there with the
yes,
bridge
yes.
being built and everything else.
Ah,
So,
thinking of that link with, if
Right.
we ever get it, or if it's there
Mhm.
with the Whipple.
Okay, issues for July 19th meeting.
John,
Well, at
Jack,
the
do you wanna bring
Rhode
up-
Island Nursery and Landscaping Association, yes.
which his name talked about?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay. All right.
Any other new issues to add? Public comment, do we have anyone, John, in our meeting?
It looks like we do, if you wanted to ask, anybody would like to.
Is there, if there's anybody on the Zoom call that would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. And let's into the meeting. Nope.
Oh,
All right, that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
So moved by Linda, seconded by Dennis. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
I.
Aye. All any opposed? So voted.
Bless you.
Meeting